All right, guys. This week we're going to be talking about the analysis for June from June 15th through June 19th. And once again, let's get started with the dollar index. So we are coming once again from monthly resistance and going into weekly support. Uh, as we've seen, levels do tend to get respected. And by saying respected, I don't necessarily mean it'll just bounce and completely go the opposite way. You will have some kind of reaction. Whether it be a slight bounce or a semi big bounce or maybe all the way. Those are the things you would actually have to manage more on lower, a little bit more lower time frame. So if we go on and we go on to the weekly, you'll see this bullish candle, somewhat of a rejection candle that, hey, you know what, it looks like we may have a somewhat of an impact here from this bullish weekly candle. So let's go ahead and bring it down to the daily, and this is where we start breaking down things. So uh, once again, if you it seems like you guys are okay with me showing you exactly how I trade. um, EMAs, don't I just use these EMAs as more of a confirmation to see where am I at. If you're new to this, my purple zones are my monthly, my red zones are my weekly support and resistance lines, and then from there on, I actually mark down all my the yellow ones are my daily supplier demand zones. So this was previously we ripped out that demand zone, then we actually took out this other demand zone. So it looks like we have somewhat of a still I'm sorry, bearish dollar. We did have somewhat of a rally. So another thing that we were talking about last week, how we might see it come down towards this 12,100 area, somewhere right around here, 12,100, maybe 12,125, 130 area. We might see it come down and bounce around that area. So let's go ahead and break it down, or actually let's go to a 4-hour chart. And so this is where I start going more into day trades. Last week, we were talking about how this was a very important level for us, the 350 area, and I actually thought it was going to make it in the beginning of the week, but it actually took towards the end of the week to make it all the way up here. So now that it made it up here, this is not going to be one of those simple levels that, hey, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and just go ahead and rip it apart. We might base here. Here, let's start drawing things up with things in here. So we might just base in here, okay? And you most likely you'll see these things on lower time frames. And what we're really trying to do right now is create a scenario, or what if condition. So if that happens, eventually you'll get basing, and then you'll get the rip up to the next level. Okay. Now, if we actually take it up to the next level, I think we had talked about that. We actually broke it down to a lower time frame, and there was somewhat of a supply area here, maybe a 1 hour supply there. So we might just get a rejection, and once we actually break the 350, then we could expect a return. So I'm sorry. Once again, the what we're expecting to see, maybe the hesitation. It doesn't necessarily mean it might happen here. Uh, we actually, it might just come and pick up demand from right there as well. So it might just come down and pick up demand from right here, and then start building its way up here. Just know that there's demand here, 2 hour, 4 hour demand here, and might just come all the way down here, and it's still there. So if you're more of an intraday trader, scalper, then just know that you're maybe coming into the week, your playground is pretty much going to be between here. If you're more of once again, if you're an intraday trader, well, then just kind of see where this dollar, if we're actually going to take away the demand here, if it's going to get respected. Maybe if we come in here and then we start getting the bounce towards the upside, then just know that it's one of these levels that it's not going to be that easy for us to take that 350 apart. I personally would, since I'm more of a pullback trader, I would personally much better wait for the breakout, for the pullback, for the continuation back up. That's one game plan for this dollar. Okay. What if actually because once again, let's go back. Okay. Then, as a matter of fact, let's go back to this weekly. We've been anchor breaking our way down here. Okay. Now we are in weekly support. Yes, we do have a bullish candle. Let's go to the daily. Okay, we still have not anchor breaked our way up on the daily. So the bias is still down on the daily. Okay. Yes, we did get a bullish candle, but we have no way for us to tell us, hey, you know what? Yeah, this is the bottom. Let's start buying. And the reason why is because we have a strong level of resistance and 4 hour higher time frame supply around this 350. Okay, and surely enough, it came in to this level, and it looks like it's going to get rejected. Okay, so doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drop it back down again because we created demand here. So just kind of see how this level is going to play out, and if we actually end up breaking this zone once again, we wait. If I'm pretty much just explaining the different scenarios. So if we break this demand zone, since I'm more of a pullback trader, we wait for this demand level to get taken apart, and then once we actually take that apart, then we wait for the pullback for the continuation down. Now, some of you have actually stated that the pullback doesn't come in. Um, and you're right. Sometimes the pullback doesn't come in. And that is quite a disadvantage if you're more of an intraday trader, pullback trader, or you're more of a swing trader. If you're one of those that you have a job and you have to go out, that is quite a disadvantage because you're not really in front of your charts. And sometimes you won't see that. What you will end up seeing live is that you'll end up seeing the hesitation pretty much like what happened last week here. So we were expecting that pullback here. I'm sorry, we were expecting a pullback at that 250. It came back down, but actually this is the kind of basing that we want for the continuation. So you see how the first time we were expecting the pullback at 250, it came back up. Pullback traders, we love that. Okay, um, but sometimes it doesn't give you a pullback. Sometimes it gives you this kind of formation where it'll just base, and then you just got to wait for the breakout. And then once you wait for the breakout, then you take the continuation down. So uh, depending on the time frames that you're in, sometimes you won't see that, and sometimes you will. So just know that if you actually get a breakout to here, you might expect somewhat of a retracement for the next continuation down. Now, if that doesn't happen, then just know you might just get some basing like what you have here, and then for the next leg down. Okay, so those are your different scenarios. Now, here's the thing. Well, what happens if it actually does go down? Where the next opposing level that I actually come to find out is this 12,200. I would definitely not feel motivated, or not necessarily motivated. I would definitely not feel enticed to actually keep on shorting this dollar once we approach the 200 level. And the reason for that is because you see how this strong rejection candle we got out of that's 12,200. Uh, it's those reasons that say, hey, you know what, that had a significant impact on that 200 level. So I would much rather wait for a 4 hour candle to take apart that level. Okay, remember that's the or even the 175. Remember, I have these listed, or these lines, all they all mean the quarter levels, and this 175 is not just a minor quarter, it's actually a major quarter level. So in other words, you might want to wait until you get a 4 hour candle closing below the 175. Sorry, you might want to wait until you get a 4 hour candle closing below the 175. And once you get a 4 hour 75, a 4 hour candle closing below the 475, you wait for the pullback. Most likely you'll get a deeper pullback, and then for the next continuation back down. Um, So, and then once again, we pretty much stated on our higher time frames that we're most likely going to end up our week pretty much right around the 125 or the 12,100 area. So that's one scenario if it decides to go down. Now remember, what if it never actually closes below 1,200, and what if it actually starts actually retracing, and it creates on a higher time frame your double bottom. See, so this is why I really couldn't find any overnights, a lot of overnights, because we're pretty much ranging within daily, weekly support. We're coming into, we're pretty much in demand area, uh, and this thing can easily start popping back up. And then what happened with the stock market, the S&P last week? It's just giving you those signals. Like, is it really just going to take? We could easily start popping back up, or it could make its retracement for the continuation back up. That's another scenario. So you can't, I can't really find, um, I don't really feel comfortable as far as putting overnights this week because of the extreme volatility that we're facing with this dollar index. So just know your scenarios, and if you know your scenarios, then that's like, that's, I think, one of the best the advantages that as a day trader or as an intraday trader you may have. Now, other levels that I actually wrote down, if it actually goes up, if it creeps back up, then you know you have your 425, your 450 area. So this is going to be the next area of interest where they're going to want in. They're going to come in and maybe do the pullback at that level. And if it does that right, I would actually wait until you get a 4-hour candle. So I would wait until you get a 4-hour candle popping that area, and then at that point, I am expecting a really good pullback for the continuation back up. And then I have these alerts already labeled here. These blue lines, as you already know from my other charts, these are actually alerts. So we actually come in towards these levels, I need to get a 4-hour candle breaking above that level so I can get the pullback for the next continuation back up. Now, I'm actually saying this right now with a semi-moderate volatility. But once again, what happened last week um, with the market and the volatility, uh, this thing can actually get it pretty much out of whack right here. So just kind of these are the scenarios that I'll be playing pretty much for this week. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.